be a good session today. I am number 7 today.
Well, good to know. Steve.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Steve, what do you check in?
Steve K.
Steve K, okay. I am fantastic today. I am happy to be back. It's been a while. Although I've been in touch with some of you and, having little meetings over Skype. It's not the same as actually interacting and working with people, and I kind of missed it. But I am in Georgia, basically set up, and, we still have some stuff to do in the mornings, but we can do that in the morning. And I am an 8.5. I'm a great. I'm with the woman I love. Life is good. You have to understand. Some people here know, like Jay. It's taken over 2 years to get my fiance here. So it's the culmination of a 2-year, event extravaganza and a lot of annoyance with the government. So it's finally come to fruition. So I'm ecstatic.
All right. So Steve O, can you please check in?
Hi, everyone. I'm glad once again to see very many faces that I haven't seen for some time. I'm at 7.
All right. Steve O is on 7. So Lucy, can you please check in?
Yes. Hello, guys. I'm very glad to join these sessions. I'm at 7.
All right, and Jay, please check in.
Awesome. I'm doing pretty well. Oral, regarding feeling better, I'm feeling a little bit better, which is nice. But overall, I'm still probably I don't even know, like a 4.5 or so. Because I definitely have been pushing myself way too hard, and it's just been a lot of. But overall, things are looking the right direction, and we'll be talking about how things are going to be changing a lot. I'm definitely interested in kind of stepping back and really trying to take care more of myself and taking more time for myself. And I think that's going to be possible to do along with improving upon the whole network and all the work that we're doing together. So yeah, check.
All right. Thank you, guys. And, we all know that Jay is going through a lot of, things. And we all wish him the best of about his health. And may God recover him soon. And, yeah, I'm really excited. Session ahead. I'm at 7 today. Thank you.
Cool. And overall, just in terms of my health, I have kind of like a cough and a little bit of flu or whatever, and my stomach is all wrapped up in knots. But I'm doing pretty good. I'm staying warm and just taking care of myself. So I should be fine. And I'm also getting a lot of work done, even not feeling particularly well. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, check.
Great to know. So okay, so now. Can we move towards our desired outcomes and priority topics for the session? Guys?
Yes. So I'm going to add a step back and slow down and think through our next steps. So we definitely need to, the other desired outcome is to really consider our situation we are now in and what we need to do to prepare for next month. So, if agreement is okay. So those are the two main things for me. I'd love to wrap up within an hour and a half or so. It would be nice to not go on and on for hours and hours and hours.
Any other desired outcomes from anybody? Like Lucy, like Joycey, Steve, anyone? Well, I have got one that I want to be, getting clarified on exam 9 billing, which me and Steve are going to work.
So exit client billing would be a topic as opposed to a desired outcome. So the desired outcome would be what we would want to get out of exit client billing.
All right. The desired outcome might be for that one to get people to let everyone know that they have to track, get us their tracked hours. So we know what we're billing for, so we know how much we're billing for, or we have the proof for what we're billing for. To get everyone, tracked hours, all past work done for exit, myself included.
Right. We can go. Steve, and I would like to, really work on HR proposals because there are some proposals which are still pending from, I think, from 1 month. And to really need to work on that as well.
Yeah, well, we do need to work on the HR proposal ASAP. If we're still doing that today, are we still doing that?
Yeah.
We still need it. So, okay, me and myself will work on that. We were supposed to do it originally, and then he got sick, and then I took off. So we will work on that starting either today or tomorrow. Okay. That's the desired outcome to get the HR proposal done.
Hello.
Hey, okay. So one thing I would add is making sure everyone who needs to get paid does, and making a plan for restarting, or actually just say starting our more detailed payroll processes. And so we definitely need to talk about payroll. So that's bill pay. All right. So other desired
I'd like to work on bill pay, but okay. I think that's good. Does anybody have any additional desired outcomes?
For me, the desired outcome for exit client billing, or really just client billing in general, and there's client billing and there's internal billing, right? Both are what's extremely important. So to have a basic understanding of both client billing and internal billing goals, and how we can start building processes for that. So that's my goal there, is to have a little more understanding on that. Doc.
Okay.
Can we go through the topic?
Hold on. Are there any objections to desired outcomes? Any additions to desired outcomes? Now we can move on to the group topics.
No, I just sent you a text. I did also call you. So, it's not charged. Like your normal one? Or your old one? Your new one? Oh, that's not good. All right, so we definitely need to do some updates. So let's do some general updates first. And then we have our steering team setup verification. I think we need to do a general round on next steps and preparing for next month, given the situation. Now, actually, maybe we should do our team verification setup and then do the updates. And then
I have a minor one. I want to talk about session value tracking and why it's not getting done.
Because of the hard stop, of course.
No. I'm talking about things like we had a Cobalt session, you, me, and Nelly, and the value tracker under it still has stuff like people flat and a Clara set up. I mean, nobody's doing. They're taking on to do the value tracking after a meeting like this, and nobody's doing it.
Yeah, well, I think overall it's not a huge priority, just because. I mean, if we don't do the value tracking, we're just losing value. It's not necessarily like against something. And right now we need to slow down and step back and realize that we need to deal with bigger picture things. But eventually we'll get back to those details. But I'll put it as a
it makes it hard to check your hours when you need to do your work reporting. Makes it easy when it's there.
Yeah, so you should be doing your work reporting is what you should be doing.
Yeah, well, I will. You know that.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
bad I am.
Of course, no worries though, and you can always estimate. All right, so I have steering team verification, updates from EXA, etc. General round on next steps and preparing for the next month. Payroll, bill pay, and then let's do billing, client and internal, and then HR proposals. Unless you guys want to do, let's do HR proposals with the payroll and bill pay because it's related, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's everything.
I think that covers a good event that we can do in an hour and a half, maybe. So, yeah.
Payroll, bill pay, and HR proposals, probably like, what, 5-10 minutes? Client, billing, maybe like
15
to 20.
Yeah, if you want to explain it, yeah.
And then we want to review group team goals, priorities for the month. So this would be like 15 to 20 minutes. Cool.
You guys, any questions on the topics and desired outcomes?
No.
Any concerns on desired outcomes and priority topics? Or any objection on desired outcomes?
Yeah, so I think we're good on the topics list. What about our group though? Did everyone get a chance to check in? What about James, Joyce?
James.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 people. Say again, Steve?
No, I said, hey, stranger, to James. James, would you like to check in?
Yeah, sure. Hello, guys. I'm very glad that I'm attending this session after a while being away, and I'm hoping to have a great session. Mass event today.
Thank you, James.
What's your number, James?
7.
Cool. All right. So, are we ready for the first topic for the group and team setup?
Do we have any objections to the topics? Okay, let's go.
So who wants to facilitate the first topic, which is the group and team setup and verification?
If you got this, it's not my thing.
I can do it too if neither of you guys want to do it.
I don't really know how to do that one.
Okay, so over time, we definitely want to people practice on trying this other thing. So the group team setup agenda topic is just quickly going over the steering team verification spreadsheet and making sure that we're covering everything that we need to get done to set up our team, right? And today's team is, what is the team for today?
Whoever's here.
No. What's the team? Why are we all here? What are we representing?
Moon steering.
The steering team, so the global steering team.
Steering team, yeah.
Exactly. So also, did anyone want to vote to split up at all, or we all want to stay together?
2, 4.
I think with the updates you need to give, we need to stay together.
Well, but do we get another person? Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah,
7, 8, 9, 10. Looks like we got another person. It looks like we're 10 people now. Who do we get? And we should make sure they check in.
Albina.
Yeah.
Albina, would you like to check in?
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm fine and I'm at 6 now.
Cool, thank you, Albina. So, I mean, we're at 10. We're supposed to split up into 2 groups. We can still do the updates all together in the 2 groups, but I mean, the bottom line is if, no one else came, I mean, we are 15 minutes into it or 20 minutes into it. Maybe we could have exactly 10 people today, but that would be pretty rare. But anyways, the other a positive of splitting up is that for all the other sections, it gives us more time to have discussion between the people in the 2 groups. What do you guys think? But I do agree with Steve that this is a slightly different situation than normal, but we could easily split up and then still, do the updates between both groups. What do you think?
Well, we could do the updates first and then split up.
Okay, well, let's just stay together for now unless anyone has any objections, and then we'll split up after maybe the updates.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. All right, and if no one else comes, then we don't have to worry about it too much. But I mean, overall, with 10 of us here, there's no possible way to do that much interaction with everyone. So by splitting up the 2 groups of 5, you get like double the interaction and talk time between everyone. All right, so let's go ahead, and this is where we link the steering team verification spreadsheet. Should I go get that, or is anyone getting it, or what?
I'm looking to see if it's here somewhere. If this is the right template, it should be here.
It would be up into the steering team doc. So I'm going to click on the steering team doc.
Oh, okay. I got you.
And I'm going to get the steering team setup responsibility verification spreadsheet. And I'm going to go ahead and pop that in the notes. So depending on what team you're working with, you would have a different spreadsheet for which team you are organizing. And I always remember to update the contents of the notes as often as you can. All right, so I'm going to click on this. All right, so the first thing are our tasks. The verification spreadsheet, done. Team steering doc, done. Global master priorities list, good. Decisions doc, it says no. Global master list, master topics list, master task list. Add main docs for each team member. Main session doc, create. And I think for this one, for the team members, it also would be for each sextant senior manager. All right, cool. So anything else got done here that we should check off? So these are all tasks that are assigned and need to get done. Anyone can work on them, It's like, does anyone want to help make sure these all get done?
Well, I'll take you in creating a voting form. I mean, we're doing it already, so
yeah.
I'll make sure we actually have a voting form. So
cool. All right.
I mean, we do have one, so I don't know why it's red. I mean, people vote. I mean, I've been sending out, voting forms forever, so I don't know why it's red. I mean, there's no master one, which is different kinds of votes. You have to write. You have to do them individually to put in the stuff that they're voting on. Decision stuff. I mean, the only one that we use regularly is like the one that we use for the co-chairs and normal elections. But as far as decisions voting docs, they have to be done individually because decisions have to be put in.
Cool. Yeah, well, that sounds good. And then
basically that should be done. I mean, that can be a yes in my opinion.
Okay, so as far as the other things we're going to be adding to these lists we're going to be adding email lists and other communications.
We have one.
I don't think we're using it.
How do you think I send out voting forms?
So I mean, this would be an email group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You said list.
Yeah.
That's different, you know.
Yeah, people call it would be a listserv, I guess. Okay, so
Okay.
email group. So, anyways, we'll get to all these things. So let's check out some of the responsibilities. So we covered some of these first ones, like we have our budget. We're not doing a lot of deliverables. Scheduling's good. Session support is okay. Did the co-chairs are supposed to meet and check in and make a plan for this meeting? So I don't know if that happened, but it's a reminder. And that would be as part of the session support. We're going to increase evaluation and accountability. This should actually be a next step. I would add that to our next steps here so that we don't forget it. Accountability and evaluation. Team identity training, task responsibility, delegation, project management systems and processes, recruitment. All right, so that's where we left off before, is the recruitment. And I would say our recruitment is improving somewhat, but we still need to keep going. So then material organizing is a 0. Are there any other changes to any of these other ones that we went through?
Well, see, I don't think senior manager shift is a 0. I mean, but we're not doing the lower ones.
Which ones? Okay, yeah, we're going to go through the next 10. So more material organized, team equity. We're not doing that still. Tax forms. Tax forms are pretty good. We're probably like 75% plus, so that would be green.
Yeah.
And we do need to get new tax forms from some of the new people and make sure everything's filled out properly. So who's on that? Who does the tax forms?
I'll take that one.
Steve, some others. Okay, senior manager shifts.
Anyway,
so we're not currently doing senior manager shifts, but we have a plan for when we get started. So we'll make that 25%. Payroll and finances. These are really two separate things. I don't know why they'd be on the same line, but we'll just say like we're at 35%. Still a lot to do with there. Personnel. What? Say again, Steve?
Yeah, Joyce has gotten some of it done, so yeah, 35% is pretty good.
Personnel
2 minutes
support.
for this topic.
Yeah, Miguel, say again.
2 minutes for this topic.
We got 2 minutes left. All right. So we just have like 2 or 3 more to go here. Personnel support.
25%.
So this would be a concern. I would actually add this to our agenda because we want to support our personnel, and this would be part of payroll, HR proposals, personnel support. Make sure that we are taking care of each other. Online public personnel files. This is also part of personnel support. I think we're over 50%, right? We got 60% of people's done, I think.
Yeah.
Calendar. I think the calendar is pretty good. Zilu's been busting it on the calendar. Let's add Zilu's name.
Yes.
That's okay.
Maybe we're at 75% on the calendar.
Yeah, okay.
Outreach, we're not really doing much outreach, although Joyce and other people have done a little bit. We'll say like 20, maybe 17% on Facebook and stuff. Meeting priorities and topics, I think we do pretty good, but All right, anyway, so I think this is good.
80. No, I think bigger than that.
Well, this is more preparing for it. So anyway.
Okay. All right.
Cool. So I think this is good. So the idea is that every time we just go through a little bit more, see what's getting done, see what still needs to get done, and eventually we'll get through all of it. Okay.
So Eileen wants to come on we're full.
All right. So shall we go ahead and split up, and then we can do the updates as a whole group?
Yeah, I guess that's what we have to do now.
I'll just get on both.
So more than 10 people on the hangout.
All right, so let's go ahead and split up into 2 groups. So we split up based on senior section managers. Okay.
Okay.
So let's do this right here. So the main group is going to be Jay, Steve, Steve, Albina, Joyce, right? And then the second group, who wants to be the runner for the second group? So this would be Miguel, James, Mazi, right? Steve O and Lucy. Lucy, do you want to facilitate the other group?
And Eileen.
And Eileen. I can't remember if Eileen or Joyce is ranked higher. I think Joyce is ranked higher, right, on the elections?
Abdul is also there, I think.
Abdul also is here? Okay, cool. All right, cool. Abdul's also here. Great. All right, so Abdul would definitely be with us. Abdul would, yeah, that would be perfect. So Jay is 120 degrees, 120 west. Steve is 60 west. Sif is technically 180 right now.
180.
Albina is 0 degrees. Joyce is 120 east, and Abdul is 60 east. So we have a full slate of representation across the world. Pretty cool. All right. So who wants to facilitate the second group? Lucy? I'll be the runner. So we need a runner, and we need a a second group facilitator. The runner would be going back and forth and be in charge. So if nobody wants to facilitate the group, then like there's no reason to be here working, and then there's no reason to have a session with the second group, and then we just need the 6 people who represent the global steering team, and that's it, since nobody else seems to want to work. Does that make sense here?
Yes.
So someone just needs to step up and make sure the second group happens. We need to choose a hangout, which hangout's going to be, and then people will split over there, and I'll get on both hangouts, and we'll do the updates with everybody. Otherwise, the second group is not needed. We can just break you guys out into buddy teams. You guys could start getting work done.
I think we can go to the 8th hangout.
Okay, so James, do you want to help facilitate the second group? Maybe be the runner?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, James. So you're going to be the runner, and then you need to choose a second group facilitator, and then once you guys get set up, you're going to come back over here and check in with us. Okay, James? So you would come back and forth. You spend some of your time here and some of your time in the second group, but when you leave that group, you need to have someone who's going to step up and be the facilitator while you're gone. All right, and which hangout do you want to go to, James?
The 8th hangout.
8th hangout. All right, cool. All right, so everybody in the second group, Miguel, James, Mazi, Stevo, Lucy, Alim, go to the 8th hangout, and then everyone else, Steve, Jay, Asif, Albina, Joyce, Abdul, stay here in the main hangout. And then I'm also going to get onto the 8th hangout so that I am able to be on both calls. Great. All right, are we all good? Ready to go?
Yes.
So that took like 5 minutes, but it's not too bad. We're pretty good. We're getting.
Once we get they want to come on and they can't. That's really frustrating because I've been in that position where I couldn't sign into a hangout to the meeting.
Yeah.
And
well,
then you have to break up.
Yeah. Well, partly we do that because it's just like when you break up into groups, it's the only way to have real participation because no one ever wants to break up. And so if you don't break up, then it's just you don't get participation, the interactivity, and people just sit there and do nothing, right? And just listen. It's just like that's not the goal of our meetings. Our meetings are to interact and participate and collaborate and solve problems and work together as groups and of small groups of 5 to 10 people, right? So I think that we are good. We're only missing Abdul. What's up, Mr. Abdul?
I'm going to send him a Skype and tell him to join us.
Any word from Abdul?
I'm sending him a Skype. You did okay.
All right, well, let's start thinking about the updates that need to be made. So the primary updates have to do with EXA. You know, what happened? What happened? Who does that? Lucy? Lucy. All right, so we're still missing Abdul. Oh, there he is. All right, we got Abdul. Cool. All right, so we're doing the updates from EXA, etc. So what happened? What does it mean? What do we need to do? And then what still will continue, etc., etc. All right. So are there any questions off the bat before I jump into the update? Okay, no questions yet. Okay, so let me just do my best here to kind of update generally what happened, what's going on.
Do we have Abdul check in?
Oh yeah, Abdul, check in.
Hi everyone. Pretty good today. Sorry for late. It's cold here and now it's 4:30 a.m. in my time. I'm at 6 today.
Great, thank you, Abdul. Yeah, so Abdul was
4:30 a.m.
I know Abdul was a little late because it's 4:30 a.m. But thank you for being here. Usually I'm the one up at 4:30 a.m. So yes.
Yeah, right.
I know, it's like, oh my God.
For me, yeah.
Yeah. And I have a feeling we're going to be able to start paying people soon for the extra time, not just the co-chairs, but we'll get to that. All right, so update. Okay, so lots of things have changed since in the last week. The first and most important thing is that on Wednesday, it was the first council meeting of the new year for EXA. And I went to the meeting, you know, with the budget proposal and stuff. Basically, Jim, Exceli, other people in the organization of EXA created their own budget, totally separate from me and totally separate from our processes that we've been supporting them with. And in this budget, it excluded the FQNQ network outsourced work. It did include myself in the budget. So let's just go through what the budget is. Like, what was the budget, right? So the budget used to be $6,125 for Jay, and then I think it was $7,500 for outsourced work, and then I think there was an additional $1,500 for contractors. So anyways, it was about $13,500. Or whatever that adds up to. I didn't really do the math there. So the new budget is $5,000 for Jay, and again I get half of that, so it'd be $2,500 for me. And then we have $500 for payroll, EXA payroll, and this is going to be the last. This is the last EXA payroll that we're going to do, and then it's $500 for VZ EXA mesh. Okay, so this is a total of $6,000. It's more than half of the budget, and of course, most of it is the money for me. So there's very little money to go and pay us, and our income is cut in half. Other income that we should consider is we do get $1,000 from Jorge entities, and we should be getting at least like $300 from Zachary and Vienna, the VZ stuff, but that could go up if we just wrote a proposal and got approval for that. So, and then and we'll cover the other, and then plus new projects and business. All right, so we'll talk about that in a minute. So the bottom line here is that this is our new number for EXA income. It is substantially reduced. It's a major issue. And it's not going to affect anyone's pay immediately. But overall, you know, the bottom line is that FQN outsourced work was fired from EXA. You know, in my perception, I'm really pissed about this. I raged was very upset. I raged. I was very emotional. I was like, this is unacceptable. You can't do this. Like, why would you do this? It doesn't make any sense. And without any notice, there's 3 days of meetings, and on Friday the final vote happened for the budget, where they finalized. So it was 3 days of meetings, and Friday was the final vote, and it was five votes yes of 9, right? So it just barely passed, and then there was one abstention, and then no one else was there present. So, and I was the abstention, right? So in the context of the process, it was done legally. Everything happened correctly. They obviously wanted to cut us from the budget. For me, it loses trust big time, and it changes the relationship between EXA and FQN forever. The way I feel about it is that, they gave us no notice. Like, typically, you would professionally give 2 weeks minimum notice to someone to stop working. They also made it clear that the $1,000 for EXA payroll and Visa EXA Mesh, their goal is to cut that after the month. It's just like we finish it, we do one last payroll, we finish EXA Mesh, and then we're cut entirely, right? So, so I'm upset about the fact they didn't give us notice. I'm also upset about the fact that it just doesn't make sense. There is no rational reasoning for why to do this. There's specific people involved, like Tim, Jim, other people involved in EXA who are pushing this whole thing, and they are now in charge. So Jim is now in charge of everything that FQN used to be overseeing. So he's kind of like the new admin operations guy within EXA, and he's been pushing this. And so, we'll see how that goes. But the biggest problem is that they have a plan to hire a new fiduciary, right? This is someone who does accounting, taxes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But currently, there is none. Right, so this creates a major dilemma and problem in that legally, with no fiduciary, there is no guarantee that basic legal processes for taxes and government compliance will be met. So therefore, I, as Jay, right, this is Jay, as the treasurer of the organization, am resigning. And I'm resigning as the treasurer and the secretary, and as a director. So my new role. So Jay, thank you. So my new role will just be what's called the legal architect, and I'll help with normal non-executive planning for space and technology implementation, right? So basically my work and the pay that I'm doing as an outsourced FQN contractor with EXA will be non-executive and just focusing on the work for the project. So it's going to significantly change. Like, my responsibilities will be about 10 times less than they were before. And, Jim's going to be about 10 times more. But overall, I had to resign because, or at least from the treasurer position, because it's just like the legal, they're not following basic legal fiduciary system. So I might come back on, and they may actually try to rehire us afterwards. But I will only become treasurer again of EXA if and only they meet the basic criteria of the legality of the situation, which there's at least 4 or 5 things that they would need to do, or they would need to hire us back. Basically, we offered our offer. So we were getting $7,500 for the outsourced work per month. We wanted more like 10,000 plus, right? We've been pushing for a while to be getting paid more money because they weren't paying us enough for all the work they were going to do. They simply do not value the work that we do. I don't know how else to say it. They just don't think the work we do is valuable. And they think that they're paying too much or something for it. I mean, I don't really understand, but they're going to find out very quickly that we were doing 10 times more than any normal fiduciary would do. And like when they hire these new fiduciaries, it's going to be like at least 2 or 3 times more expensive. So anyway, so our final offer was $3,500, right? So that was $3,500 to continue, the majority of the work that we did. So that was the final offer, and they said no. Okay, and then they cut us from the budget, and we have this $1,000 for just this 1 month, and then that's going to go away as well. So basically, the bottom line is that there's no trust. Why make a new agreement for something that they can just fire us again in a month, right? Right. So if we're like, oh yeah, we would agree to work with you guys again, and then boom, they just fire us a month later while they get a new fiduciary or whatever. I mean, that would be ridiculous, right? So basically, the way that I look at it is that my proposal to them is going to be $10,000 for the outsourced administrative work, outsourced admin work, and that we want a 1-year contract. So that basically, if they do want us to continue the work, that we want to get paid full market value, and that we want a 1-year signed contract, right? So that's my proposal. In addition to that, we have the 10K for the executive, legal, and governance work, and this would include Jay. So in this we already have 5,000, so that's only an increase of 5K. Additionally, they're talking about doing another setup for the accelerator. You guys don't know about this contract, this agreement yet, but the accelerator support, which would be 10K for that. And then their new program, which we'll talk more about, is the Cap V, which is our cyber asset management company, right? And that we would do cyber asset management for them, and that the goal here is to increase the total value to EXA more than double our pay.
2 minutes.
So the idea would be if we were getting like 20,000 per month from EXA, our goal of Cap V would be equal to increase value by a minimum of 40,000 per month. So that would be double our pay. And then also that if we do less, then we get our pay cut in half proportionally. So that would be 10%. So we could bring in $40,000 a month for EXA based on our cyber assets management and investing. Then we would get paid the full 20,000. But if we didn't meet the goals, then we would be willing to get paid as little as 10,000 for the same work. So that's basically the proposal EXA has. EXA budget is currently equal to $1 million. They have plenty of money to pay us, as much money as we want to ask them for. So that's my proposal. I don't know if there's any objections to that, but basically it's a legal thing. The steering team doesn't really need to agree to it, but you certainly can input in. We could get approval about it, but overall we have over, I don't know, we have about $200,000 or something like that. So we have plenty of money. This is due to the fact that in October, November, and December, since our last accounting, Bitcoin and Ether tripled in value, and our $50,000 went up to basically 150,000 plus, right? So it's around $150,000 to $200,000. So bottom line, we have plenty of money to pay people, right? Our Cap B, which is the new company, Cap B and Canopy. Canopy are the new cyber asset management company we're creating. Cyber asset management company that we are creating. That is probably going to pay. We'll start with $5,000 for the next month, right? And so that'll be the next moon month, and that should give us a total of it'll be $5,000 from Cap V. This will be our primary new project in business. So the grand total minimum income is equal to 6, 7. So that's right. So 5, 11, 12, 300. Right? Is that right? 12,300.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is temporary for 1 month until we can stabilize, until Cap V can stabilize business income. And so we'll be talking about Cap V and stabilizing the business income there. We actually want to add that to our goals, and we'll talk more about that here, but it's definitely something we're talking about is Cap V and asset management. But and just so everyone understands, we have made as an organization, as the African Community Network and the organizations within it, organizations and businesses within it as a global network, we have made much more money in the last couple months from our assets in the Bitcoin and the Ether and the cyber currencies than we have made from our clients. Does everyone understand that? Because it's really important to understand.
Oh, of course, I understand that.
So I'll say it again. So we made more money in the last few months from asset growth of cyber currencies than from the pay from Exit, right? So if we can stabilize that and we can continue to grow our value and have an income from our cyber assets, then we can stabilize ourselves and be able to basically exist without adding an external client. So we could actually have our own internal income source from a business within the network. It would still be seen as a client relationship. So this $5,000 would still be seen as a client relationship, but it would be for an internal business within the network. So I think that's pretty much it for my updates. I know it's a lot of information, but let's see if there's any questions. Steve, were you saying something?
I'm good.
Yeah, but as you can see, this substantially changes our situation. So we want to have a full discussion, make sure everybody gets to input and chime in. And yeah, any other questions?
Jay?
Yeah.
Jay?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Currency accounts have increased due to the increase in the prices for Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah.
So how do we stabilize ourselves in terms of that increase?
So basically, I'm starting, and we are starting a new business, right? This new business is called. So the new business is called. It's called Canopy. Canopy. Actually, that's a network. So the new business is called Cap V. Whoops, Cap V, or capital value, and then the network is called Canopy. So it's the Canopy network. And so Canopy oversees like hedging, investing, cyber asset management, and basically the idea is that there's thousands of cyber tokens in blockchains, but the question is, what do you do with them now? So the idea is we're creating this whole new company that will take on clients, including ourselves, right, to oversee their cyber currency assets and actually have them increase in value. So the goal is, and this was approved by the Earth Session board, is to turn our $200,000 into 1 million. So the goal is to turn the $200,000 into $1 million, and that was approved by the Earth Session. And this is going to be the CapV is the company that's going to do that. All right, and so the whole new company could take on additional clients, and we could be overseeing a lot of cyber assets. Currently, we're overseeing well over $1 million of cyber assets, but only 200,000 of them are ours. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a question. To turn 2,000 to 1 million in how much time?
There's no time frame, so no time frame for how long it will take to turn it into $1 million. I mean, there's also no guarantee it will happen anyways. I mean, Bitcoin, Ether could crash at any moment. So, but the general idea is that the goal is to turn it into $1 million, and we haven't figured out the time frame yet. But it's a good question. Any other questions? Like, so our primary goal, primary short-term goal, is to record and document $5,000 of income. Document a minimum of $5,000 of income for CapV. So CapV needs to be able to make $5,000 of income so that it is able to pay the global core team $5,000 to be a client of the core team. Does everyone understand?
Yes.
So the goal is that in the next month, right? We'll have a month for this. All we have to do is have CapV be able to raise $5,000 of value, which I think is going to be possible, and then that can help stabilize our income budget. But if CapV can't stabilize an income of $5,000, then what happens is that then we don't have income, and if we have a loss or whatever else happens, what it comes down to is the fact that we might need to look at other sources of income to stabilize our income. So even though we have plenty of money, even though we have plenty of money, our primary team budgets will always be based on our income, okay? So we're not planning on firing anybody, and we will certainly consider if we have to in a month and a half, right? So the next, not this budget coming up, but the next budget. Oh, that's actually another really important thing I just thought of that we need to add to our agenda is the budget process this week. Budget process this week for new moon. So for this new moon, the budget's going to be fine. We're just going to continue the budget as planned and not worry about it. And then in the next, we have 1 month to build income, revenue streams. And then if that doesn't happen, we may need to consider, letting people go or whatever. But I think overall, we should be able to bring in income, and then we won't have to fire anybody. And then once we get our income stabilized, once we have income stabilized, then we can restart the recruitment. But for now, recruitment is ended. So we're going to continue to recruit all of the people who have already accepted their invitation. So this would include, April, Divya, obviously Mazi, like anybody who's basically accepted their invitation and want to work with us, they're in. Anyone who hasn't been invited, we would stop doing recruitment until we balance and stabilize our income sources. And then that means that the recruitment hard stop is over. That means that level 4 buddy teams can start again. I think each level 4 worker can set up 2 scheduled buddy teams per week. And then we would do a regular schedule, and we would start up a senior section manager schedule, and everything's going to go ahead and get started up again in the next week or two. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got how much money Cap B will have to that income.
So the question was how much money does Cap B have for that income? Can you explain again? Miguel?
Like $100, Cap B expect to generate $5. That's the question. How much money will Cap B will have to generate some bucks?
Yeah.
Per month?
So Cap B has $200,000. So we have $200,000, and the goal is to turn it into $1 million. So we have access to $200,000. Does that answer your question, Miguel?
Well, the question is kind of. I know this is the company wants to generate $5,000, and how much money the company, the Cap B, will have to generate that.
Well, I mean, you can see
Because
here, but the real question is a little more complicated than that. Let's cover that within the discussion of Cap B if we get there. But the details of calculating income, is complicated to say the least. But the bottom line comes down to that the value of the assets must increase more than the base of the original cyber assets. So that means that if Ether is going up by 20% per month, right? If Ether's going up by 20% per month, and our asset pool, or maybe say R would say, and the Cap V asset pool goes up by 21%, that would equal a 1% gain. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. So the idea is that the income is based on the increase of the asset pool over the natural growth of these asset pool itself, because the asset pool itself is in the hands of the client already. So if we can't prove that we can generate an income in addition to the natural growth of the resources, then we aren't making actual surplus. Okay. So anyways, I'm very confident we will be able to. The goal every week, so there will be weekly check-ins of estimated valuations of the Cap B assets, and we don't have them now, but the goal is that by next week we do. So that's the goal, is that by next week we'll have our first report. So first reporting from Cap B at the new moon. All right, so that's the goal there. So we're going to be spending a lot of time working and learning all the processes and systems regarding Cap V. I don't know if we're going to get into it today. It would be another agenda item to discuss Cap V. But if we want to do it, that's here. We can get to it. Okay, but let's go through our payroll and billing and budgeting processes to make sure that's all covered. And then if we have time to go into the Capital V asset management, that would be great. But yeah. Any other questions about our update and all the changes that are happening?
Let's hope everything works the way we hope it will. That's all.
Indeed. Oh, and we'll cover this more in the bill payroll, but we have plenty of money, but we don't have a lot of time. I'm like working around the clock trying to focus on building this whole new company to stabilize our income resources, right, with the asset management company. So that means that my role and all the things I used to do are just a little overwhelmed, right? And so I'm asking everybody for like basically 2 weeks so I can focus on these things and not have to worry as much about everything else. So what that means is that if anyone needs to get paid just let me know, and we'll get you paid as soon as immediately, enough money to get you through the next couple weeks. Okay.
Me.
What?
Me.
Steve.
I do.
Okay, so let's make a list. We were going to go through it in bill pay and payroll, but let's just make a list right now. So, Steve, how much money do you need, Steve, for the next couple weeks?
Because I didn't do my payroll, so maybe 300.
All right, let's get, how about 1,000?
Awesome.
That would actually pay the bills. Yes.
I know. Yeah. So okay.
I was speaking with the other, but that would pay the bills.
Yeah, because it's like you need to have enough money to pay the bills. We have plenty of money. We need to update all the payroll systems and all the other stuff, but it's like, it's like we just want to get people paid, and then we will go through all the payroll and backtrack it and make sure everything's exact afterwards. Okay. So anyone else that needs to get paid?
Joyce.
Yes,
That's
me.
And Miguel. Anyone else?
Joyce.
So I have Joyce, let's see, Miguel.
Nelly, tell me also much.
Nelly.
Sorry, come again. Nelly, to review her payment because I think we had a missing data from the 13th of December, so we need to work on that for FQN.
Okay, so
real-time finances.
the payroll is a whole nother question in terms of like going through all the payroll, but right now we just want to get people paid the amount of money that they need, regardless of the payroll. So
Lucy,
yeah, Lucy.
Yes.
Steve O. So Steve O. Steve K. Cool. So let's jump ahead to the payroll section and like get this all done because I think this is a top priority, don't you guys?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so so the bottom line here is that what, Steve? Okay.
It's a good idea if nobody, it gives you a week or so, and then be ready to work on getting the payroll system up.
Cool. So the bottom line here is that, like, let's say we pay Steve $1,000, in the next couple of days. The hope is that Steve will be pretty good through the end of the month. That, I mean, basically, we don't have to worry about Steve while we're getting this whole new business set up, right? So the question to you, Joyce, would be like, regardless of payroll, regardless of the number of hours you worked or whatever, how much money do you need to be able to get through the end of the month or the next couple weeks, so that we don't have to worry about this payroll, and the next one, so that people are just taken care of while we're going through this transition? How much money do you need, Joyce?
200.
200. Asif, how much money do you need for the next couple weeks? Asif?
I already proposed for 400, but it never got approved. I don't know what happened to that.
I don't know what got approved or whatever, but the point is that these are not approved numbers. This is just quickly send people money, get people some money in their hands so they're okay for the next couple of weeks, and then we're going to go back through all of the numbers, and all this money would be, reversed based on your pay, right? So we're not changing any of the payroll processes or anything. We're just paying people up front right away, and then we'll go back through and we will check to make sure all of the amounts add up correctly. Does anyone have any concerns or issues with this particular process? Because we could vote on it, but I mean, I think it just needs to happen because we just need to get people money so that they're able to live while we're going through this transition. So Asif, I have 400. Is that good? Okay, Miguel, how much do you need for the next few weeks?
400, please.
Okay, and then Nelly's probably going to need, like, I don't know, 500 or something like that. Like, or like, I don't know. She's talking about stepping. You guys all know Nelly's talking about slowing down and stepping out and working on some other stuff. So we need to check with Nelly. So Miguel, can you check with Nelly? And Jorge, can you do that, Miguel, please?
She knocks from this.
Yeah. So yeah, good. So check in with her. That would be good.
It's not pretty clear or not. And money for 10 hours per week. That will be One moment, I give the calculation.
Cool. Well, we're not going to send them any money without talking to them, so let's just make sure that we talk to them, to Nelly and Jorge. Lucy, how much do you need?
I need 200.
200. Steve O.
150.
150. And Albina.
Around 175 for the 2 weeks.
We'll just say 200. Okay, so anyone else? And if you're not on this list, it's perfectly fine. Like tomorrow, you can be, you know what, actually, I do need money, and then we'll figure it out. But it's like this at least gets us started, so that the people we know who need some money immediately will get them money. And then if it's like next week you need money, just let us know. We'll get you some money. The point is that we have plenty of money. It's just a matter of, you know, the fact that our payroll systems are still not quite all set up, and we just don't have a lot of time. Like I don't have a lot of time to go over the full detailed payroll, everything. I just want to make sure people are taken care of, so that we have more time to really go through the transition and get our payroll set up correctly. And then the idea is that by next month or two, that we can start our very professional payroll systems, right? And we'll start them kind of from scratch. You know, we'll kind of do like a new level of FQN payroll, because we're going to change all our payroll systems and have them be much more professional, and hopefully happen every single week instead of just twice a week. All right, any last people who need to get paid immediately for the next couple of weeks? Otherwise, just, you know, we'll get you paid as soon as possible, or just let us know if you hit a point and you need to get more money. Sweet.
Jay?
Yeah.
I think I would 200.
James 200 as well. Okay. Anyway, so all this is fine. This is still less than we usually pay. So, but we'll get the payroll all updated and do the full payroll as soon as possible. But this at least gives us a backup plan if we're not able to do that right away. Any other questions on payroll and bill pay?
A question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that you asked for our help to remind you to withdraw $200. Do you still need that reminder every single day?
I actually have an update. You guys are going to like this. Oh my goodness graciousness. This is actually pretty funny. Okay, so we have been trying to figure out how to get money out of Bitcoin for like 6 months, 8 months. Even.
Yeah, tell me about
It's like, how the hell do we get money out of Bitcoin? Well, what are we going to do? How do we turn the Bitcoin into US dollars and cash? And it's just been this huge problem. I figured out a solution, and it is unbelievable. And this is the solution. A little palladium, a little silver, and a little gold. So basically, we're looking at this as an exchange from Bitcoin to metal, gold and silver, into US dollars that then I'm going to sell on site. There's going to be, you know, a fee, but basically that's the solution. Literally, like gold and Bitcoin and cyber currencies are more related than fiat currency, and so you can just purchase the gold, you know, and bypass the banks, have the gold, you know, picked up, and then you just take it to the local gold place, sell it, and then go to the bank. I haven't done this yet, but the gold's supposed to arrive like tomorrow or the next day, and or sometime this week, and then I'll be able to go to the bank, and then immediately this week we will have like an additional $5,000, $8,000 in liquid cash that we can put into the bank accounts and pay taxes on and everything, and have it totally legal and legitimate, and all of our problems with payroll and getting the money into the cash is going to be over, all thanks to gold and silver and platinum. So, anyways, yeah.
Another good thing about that is, as gold goes up, the value of that Bitcoin goes up with it.
In our notes, or
because, you know,
5 minutes left on the topic of payroll.
So, Miguel or Steve, did you have a question or a comment?
No, I just said
notes,
that.
the page.
That's
to
good,
see it,
man. And if we
please?
get the gold and
No,
we're
no.
holding the gold, and the value of the gold goes up because gold value changes like Bitcoin every
Yeah. So
day.
Steve, you're saying that,
what it is for. So
yeah. So you're saying that it works really well because the gold goes up in value and along with the Bitcoin. So
yeah.
Monty says she's not available today. She'll be available tomorrow. So you can put Monty in for a check-in. So Miguel, you were asking a question. It seemed like you said something. Can you put something in the notes? What did you want in the notes?
Oh, the web page for that.
The company web page or the order confirmation details?
Yeah.
Like, did you say the company web page or the order confirmation details?
No, is to you to speak.
Is this what you want here?
To see.
Sorry, can you type it? I can't quite hear you. Miguel?
Very surprised. I will be having a word.
Yeah, me?
I can't quite hear you. Can you say again or can you type it?
Hear me now?
A little bit. Yeah, this is the correct amount. It's $7,902 of metal that we have coming. We'll put this in our notes.
Apex.
So the website is apmex.com. apmex.com. Let's see here. apmex.com. Yeah, so this is gonna, hopefully it'll work out well. And then we'll finally be able to, for the first time ever, be able to transfer money from Bitcoin to US dollars by spending gold. And we'll calculate exactly what the costs and fees are. So we still don't know. We still do not know what the fees are, but we already pay, 3.5 to 4% for fiat US dollar conversion from Bitcoin. So we're already paying a lot. So as long as it's less than that, we'd be pretty happy. But there's no tax on buying gold in the United States. So yeah, and we are going to want to track all these funds and make sure, because like we have to understand that the money that, even though this gold and silver is coming here physically, it's not my money, right? It's like the money just needs to go into the business bank account and be tracked that way. So any other questions about the payroll? Did I answer your question, Miguel? Yeah, and there's at least 3 or 4 other gold places we could potentially go through. All right, so going back up to our agenda, the next topic is doing a round on our next steps and preparing for the next month, and also doing a quick round on reprioritizing our goals and thinking about how that relates to the direction that we're going. And then we're going to talk about the HR proposal, our billing, and then we'll probably be checking up on our goals. I would say that we could review our monthly goals as part of our reprioritization and everything. So I would just do that first. So we're gonna go ahead and do this in those 2 groups. So James, you would just help everybody in your group, do a round. Every single person would speak. So every single person gets, 2 minutes to talk about their reaction to the updates and how they think we should move forward. Does that make sense, James? James?
Can you take us together on first?
Yeah, possibly when we get there. Yeah, we could come back together after we do the stuff here, and then when we get to the client billing, we can reunite and then maybe check out together as well. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Any last question from James or Lucy or anyone over there? All right.
Question asked one now.
We'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao.
Okay, thank you, Jay.
Yeah, thank you. Bye. All right. It is just us over here in the main hangout now. I let go of the other groups. So, Steve, do you want to facilitate, or Steve, do you want to facilitate this part about?
I'll take this, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take this one.
Yeah, we're just going to do a full round.
All right, I got you. So, what we're talking about, Jay just mentioned, is we're going everyone to, tell us what they think, what's on their mind about, the update and how you feel about it, and, nothing long and detailed, but just how you feel about it. Can we start with Abdul? Abdul?
Yes.
And we also want to cover like next steps and preparing for the next month, because our next month is going to look very different from what we've happened in the past.
All right, but that's okay.
But we can do a couple rounds. We can do a couple rounds. Let's do Steve's round first, and then we'll do another round with that can be in next steps. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. No hurries.
Abdul, so how you feel about the updates and the new direction we're taking?
I think it's good from my side if we focus our task, and we need to do professional, and we need to work according to our deadline, and I also think that everyone in this community, they can focus their main goals and also FQN goals also. And now we are reschedule our body teams so that in the next 1 month or couples of weeks we can be prepared as a professional team. And everyone took their responsibilities so that all responsibilities and goals will be completed in our due date. So hopefully all members can do their roles properly. So that's it.
Okay. You're deciding what order I'm going? Okay. Asif, go ahead. Asif, your feelings?
Yeah, actually, Steve and Jay, community has given us a lot, and, we are not, and at least I'm totally depending on the community. And when the FQN has served me in my good, then it's my duty that I should stay with the community when it is not really that much, good. Or I must say that I must stay with the community when it is when the community is in a bad patch. So it's not that much concern from my side, and yeah, that's pretty much from my side. I don't have much to say.
Okay, Albina, go ahead.
Okay, for me is that we need to ensure that we are taking on top priorities and finishing on time, and also to look for other investors, like 3 to 5, so that when one comes against us, at least we have somewhere to lean on. But much more is to complete the work before deadline, and also to to make sure that the top priorities are done first before we do anything else. Because most of the time we are completing. Okay, we are doing tasks and not completing. At least we need to complete on top priorities to make sure that clients are not taking us for granted. Also, not looking at us as if we are not being productive. We need to be productive to our clients so that we have a long-term relationship with them. Yeah.
All right. That's it. How about Jay?
Cool. I feel overall like, you know, things happen for a reason, and that hopefully this will actually improve our situation somehow. But I agree with what Albina was saying, that we do need to somehow prioritize following through. It's like if we need to do recruitment, we need to just get the recruitment done and get the people hired so that we have enough workers if we don't have enough people to do the work. And if we do have enough people to do the work, we need to follow up on actually finishing or accomplishing the work and verifying it, especially when it has to do with the client billing and the client relations and the reporting and evaluation. I think that's it's just a really important component of our systems. That it's so much easier said than done, though. It's just it's like, yeah, it's not easy, but we got to figure out how to do that better. But overall, I don't think that's the reason why this happened. I think I think that EXA did appreciate the work that we did. They just didn't necessarily value it. Like they wanted us to, they still want us to continue to do work. They just don't want to pay for it. So it's just like, well, that's okay, but it's not going to happen. You know, it's like, we're not going to do endless dozens and dozens of hours a day of work for free. It's just like, we can't do that, you know? And so I think it's good to stand our ground and basically be like, you know, we need to find a rhythm and a relationship with EXA that is mutually beneficial instead of like us supporting them at our own expense. And I think most importantly for me, it's a wake-up call in that it's just too much. We were doing way too much for EXA. I was working way too hard. I need to slow down. Everyone needs to slow down. And we need to take the time to actually hear each other. Like before, when we were so busy with everything, we didn't even have time to take 10 minutes in a meeting to hear from everybody and do a round, right? So this is I think is the beginning of a really good thing where we actually listen to each other and do more rounds, especially as we get the public more involved. But yeah, I think that's it for me. Check.
Okay, Joyce, how about you?
Yeah, for what happened, well, this is a test also for each and everyone who's staying. To do better the next time, to reflect what we have been through. So it's like to improve ourselves. So yeah, things happen for a reason. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I guess that leaves me. I agree it was a wake-up call. I think we were very overextended. I think the way that it was done was really unprofessional and shoddy, and that when they realize nobody's doing their value tracking, they're going to come crawling back. But it's an opportunity. You know, we will deal with this. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal, but we will deal with it. And we'll come out better on the other side. So let's just all focus on what we have to do. I think maybe some systems need to be changed during this period. And I'm going to, talk to some people and talk to Jay at the meeting and, very open about it. And I think some things need to be done because we weren't completing some tasks that could have been completed. And I think partly it might be the systems that were part of the problem. But we'll wait to see what happens. We'll be fine. We're good. Check.
Great. Cool. So should we do another quick round on reprioritization and then review our monthly goals?
I guess we can, yeah.
I have something that I would like to say on it real quick, since since it's fresh in our mind.
So do I actually.
Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay.
We have specific tasks that need to get done that will make us look like we can get what we have to get done. So we really need to prioritize getting the extra mesh, the extra payroll, and Jorge entities, done into a deliverable package. And I'm going to be pushing on that for the next however long it takes to get it done, because I'm kind of accepted the responsibility for a lot of that. Not extra payroll, but for our entities and VZ extra mesh. The other thing we really need to focus on is we need everyone to go and track their back hours. This is going to be priority for the next little while. I didn't know we were doing that anymore. The taxes. We really need to focus on
for SQN, for us.
I sent you the spreadsheet with the FQN.
Okay.
Just had to add some of the new people.
Can you send that to me again?
Sure. Give me a minute when I'm done talking.
Yeah, no problem.
What are they going to say? I think we, just need to focus and, get our stuff done and get client billing done. People need to track their hours for past work. That's what has to be done now. Client billing and tracking your hours, so we know what we're billing for and that what our value was. Okay, that's where I am with it. And now I'll find that for you, Jay.
Well, that's pretty much exactly what I was going to say. I mean, I think that's really what it comes down to right there. It's like, so, I mean, these are our new priorities. We need to really step up our existing clients and the work we're going to continue to do for EDGA. Yeah, so that's perfect, right on. I don't think there's anything I can really I guess except for Cap V, Cap V, and payroll. But we'll go over all of this next week as well, because we'll be reprioritizing everything for the next month at our new moon session. Check. Asif?
I also agree with Steve and you. We have to prioritize, the
2 minutes left.
There was one other thing that I heard from Steve, which was systems and processes, that we need better systems and processes to make sure that we're following through on some of these tasks that we've had difficulty with.
And I have some specific ideas for them.
Nice. Okay, cool. Anything else, Joyce, Albina, Abdul?
So if we can add a schedule in our
take the seeds out of it, don't drop it off.
Update a schedule, yeah.
We can reschedule or rethink on the budget.
Say again, Asif?
We have to rethink, or we can go overlook to our budget as well now.
So review our budget. Oh yeah, the budget is going to be key. We have to do that this week.
Yeah, I sent it on the quarter moon.
Okay. So this budget review, it needs to happen immediately, and it's super important. So we need to prioritize that. Excellent. This is perfect.
I told him what I needed, and he gave me just what I asked for.
This is technically Jello. Slash.
Time is up for the topic.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Steve. All right. So I think we're ready to move on, but let's make sure the budget review process is in our agenda. Let's just put it down here somewhere. What is it? Billing client budget review. Oh, and we also should take a break. It's been an hour and a half. We haven't taken a break.
Jeff, going on break. Before going on break, I just wanted to ask one small thing: that we should lower our budget, or we should remain the same with the budget. What do you suggest? I'm just asking about the suggestion.
I think that we'll be able to pay everybody the same for this month. We might go a little over budget, but I think overall it should be fine. But we might need to lower a little bit here and there. But you know, overall we have plenty of budget money. We budget ahead of time, so we were expecting to get pay for EXA this month that we would use for next month. So that means that we had an additional previous month's budget, so we had a month or two buffer, right? So that means that we are good for next month, regardless. So,
How long are we proposing, people?
But let me just finish by saying that we will be reviewing the entire budget for the new moon, and we'll see what our exact income is. It should work out to a little above whatever the number was. What was it, like 12,000 or something like that? I can't remember. Whatever our number was here.
I think.
Yeah. What was our budget? Our budget was 13,000, and our new budget's going to be 12,300. So this is very similar to our previous budget, and it might be a little more than that. You know, but overall, our budget for at least this next month should be very, very stable and similar, because we do have a buffer. And so I mean, if we had to cut everything in a week, it would be a disaster, right? We create buffers and stability in the organization as best as possible. So we should have at least another month of stability to figure out our situation before we really need to start getting concerned about our budget. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So let's take a 5-minute break. Yeah, 5 minutes.
5 minutes works.
Yeah, cool.
All right, back in 5.
Nice.
Hello, guys.
Hey, Lucy.
Hello, we are on break, Lucy. 5-minute break.
Yeah, we're taking a 5-minute break. What's up?
Okay.
Do you need anything?
Yeah, the second group was asking, what is the next step then for the next month, seeing that these other fellows move out of us?
Well, one thing is that, like right here, we put a quick round of reprioritization. So we have VZ, EXA Mesh, EXA Payroll, Jorge Entities, Taxes, 1099s, Client Billing, Cap V, Payroll. But we're gonna. The most important thing for this week is the budget review, getting all the budgets updated, approving everyone's budget for the week. We have at least $12,000 or more for the budget, so the budget shouldn't change much for this month because we have been planning for a buffer in case something like this happens. But we do need to approve all the budgets, and that needs to be the priority for the week. And then at the new moon, we'll review all of the priorities for the next month. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we're also going to review our goals and priorities for this month, and update them in that list.
Yeah, there are also concern about what might be the reason that let these people move out of us. Maybe we need to know so that we cannot repeat, so we can learn out of that to improve on.
Yeah, and what Steve was saying is that the client billing and value tracking is really important to prove to our clients in the future the value that we are doing, so that it's documented and clear, and also improving some of our systems and processes related to client relations. So we do need to improve on a lot of that, and it needs to be prioritized. So be sure to document that in the notes and put it as a next step. It's like evaluation of what went wrong with EXA, why this happened, and how to prevent it from happening in the future. Okay, so we should do a whole
Amen. Because there's a lot of stuff that went wrong.
Yeah.
But we take a 5-minute recess, so everybody stop working and take 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah, I gotta go. I'm gonna go get some water.
Have a drink of water or something. Come on, guys.
Okay.
That's why we take breaks. So 5 minutes starting now.
How's everything going?
I'm back.
Cool. So we just need to link our team goal priorities spreadsheet. So I think that would be in the quarter. No, it would be in the new moon doc, right? No, it should be in the quarter moon. Let's try the steering team as well. Here we go. The global core team prioritization spreadsheet. This one. So copy that, put that in the notes. Update the table of contents. And we are going to review our team goals and priorities from the month. So does anyone want to take us through our priorities for the month?
Yeah, we all should, prioritize our priorities.
So can you guys get to this document?
Yes.
Cool. So does someone want to take us through the priorities for the month?
Yes, if you want to do that.
Can I read the story or something?
Or do you guys want me to do it?
I said, if we don't want to do it, I'll do it. Or Jay can do it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. All right.
Well, here I'll do the first 5, okay, and then Steve, you can do the second 5. All right. So midweek check-in done on time. I thought that went well this week. 80%. Midweek check-in done. Review recruitment hard stop. Well, the recruitment hard stop went well, but we also ended it. So let's just give that a 78% to make it green since we are no longer doing the hard stop. Recruitment in Hawaii went pretty well. EXA value tracking was fine until it stopped and is no longer being done. So we're done with EXA value tracking.
There we are on 82 degrees east.
How to open that?
Oh, shoot, you're right. Okay. Sorry.
How long do you want?
All right, let's fix all that. 82 east.
Oh, there's one on the bottom.
All right. Okay, so number 1's payroll. So payroll we didn't quite finish and we got sidetracked. So let's just leave that at 55. Maybe we go to 60. Recruitment hard stop. So this is the one that we basically ended. Recruitment for Hawaii also went pretty good. So I think those are both green. Yeah. Websites. So websites, we did a little bit more, but we lost Abigail again. So that certainly didn't help. But we'll get our websites up and going. 1099s, taxes. I think a lot got done on that. So I would say that we're at what, 75% there?
Oh, at least.
At least 80%. So that's good.
Now we just got to fill out the paperwork.
Exactly. Yeah, but that can happen in the next moon month anyways, I think. All right, so client billing, processes, and systems. Well, this didn't happen too well, so that'll stay at 30. Billing, internal billing, also not doing much of. These eggs and mesh reconciliation. So we did work on that some. Maybe we'll put it 30%.
Yeah.
Prioritizing downsize. Well, we're definitely downsizing. Wow. Let's see if that is 75%. All right, there I did the first 10. Steve, you want to do the next 10?
All right. Extra finance, accounting, taxes, support, 1099s we're not doing.
Yeah, so that can be 100%.
Right. Next is verification spreadsheets, daily, weekly, monthly. I don't know where anywhere changed from 25%. You know.
Yeah. Yes. I think there's something. So it will be 30%, or 35%.
We'll do 33.
Okay.
33%, a third.
We're going to be 100% on the, nothing on the next one, next agenda proposals.
Yeah, so that'll be 100% because it's we no longer have that in our purview, so we completed it.
Okay. And that okay, it's 100%. Somebody's going to change that, or am I? Okay, I guess I am. Okay, next, Celine calendar. Still not perfect, but I guess we're 75%.
Yeah.
Huh? 80? Okay.
Yeah, it should be good. And we'll have a week to get it updated for the next month. I'm not worried about it.
All right, you can make this, somebody can make number 14 100%.
On Seleni calendar, we have 1 week later. So after 15 January, we have no updated Seleni dates.
Yeah, so we'll have to well, let's just put this at 65% and make it yellow so that we get the next month going on.
Okay.
And that one's green. Exit value tracking, green, 100%.
On budgets, 100%. Jay's yellow organization. Tell us, Jay.
I'll put it at 45%. It's going.
Parallel government.
We did 0 on that. We did nothing. Goal this month, 45 would be orange. Goal this month.
Okay, what about?
Goal this month. So I'd say that for the recruitment, again, is about what we were saying, 75%?
Yeah, I would think so. And that makes it green?
Yep.
What happened there? Okay, and how many is that? Let's see. Easy entities proposal, investor relations client.
I think that's pretty much at 0 because we didn't do it.
Right. Evaluation verification for workers, I think is the same thing.
Yeah.
Personnel support, maybe a little better than 0.
Oh, definitely. Personnel support, I think we're over 50%. Otherwise, people would be dying in the street. So, like, let's do like 65% or something.
Okay, which will make it yellow.
Yeah.
Next one is last steps for taxes verification. Jay, did you ever call the IRS?
No, it's a little more complicated than that. It really shouldn't just be on me to deal with that. So let's just leave that at 0.
All right, if you need me to work on it with you or do something, just let me know. You know?
I did get some letters from the IRS though. My favorite one was the worst is getting the letter from the IRS. You're like, shit, right? And then like I open up the letter and it's like, you filled out your taxes perfectly and everything has been accepted and approved. And I'm like, woohoo! Yeah, it's very odd.
Wow.
I've never gotten that kind of letter from the IRS before. But
for which taxes was that?
I don't know.
Yeah. If it was ones we did, I'd be really happy. Court case, wait around.
Court case, actually, I have done a little bit on that, so that should be fine.
What are we making? Last steps of taxes, still 0? Okay.
Well,
what
actually,
about
it's a
doing more
little bit
client
because
work?
we got the email. We did
And to
some
do
work
more
on
client work for her entities.
Yeah, we did some.
Some, but I mean, now that I'm back, some more will get done quick. But
Yeah, and that's going to be a top priority overall. For
yeah,
sure.
I got it. I'll have people working on it real soon. Zulu's gonna help. I know Abdul's gonna help. Asif is gonna help. I got. If I need other people, yeah, we need more people. We'll just ask people to help. Let's give them tasks that need to get done, and they're good at getting them done. We've had a lot of experience on taxes and doing CSVs and everything, so we should be able to get that done pretty quick. Bus.
Actually, we've done some good stuff on that. 45%.
Yeah, without a doubt. Extra coordination. Yep, I was gonna say. Well, with your new thing, maybe the next one, 27, can be 30%, 35%.
Oh no, we've done much more than that. I would say we're at 63%. Hey, if we
Sorry, I've been gone a month. I don't know what's going on.
I know, but if we weren't over 50% on money organizing, it would mean that money's basically falling apart and disappearing. So we better be up on that one pretty good. I spent a lot of time doing money organizing and money security, at least like 20 hours, 15, 20 hours. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on there. But we want that to be in the green. Like, it's so important for money security to be in the green because it's all money, right? It just disappears. It's not good. We don't want the money to disappear. Lots of money security. So I have a whole bunch of possible directions we're going to go in the future on our money security.
Talk to us if he's very interested in working on you with it.
Nice.
You know that. I've heard him many times. Okay, the next two are 100%. We'll stop with number 30 because we did more than we said we were going to. But cool. The public launch. How are we doing on the public launch? I think we're at 0%.
No, we actually worked on that mainly at the Earth session. So we did go over it some and have a little bit of a plan sub, but we have like 10%.
All right. Excuse me, I'm having food in my face.
I agree that we're done and we're ready to go back to the rest of our agenda.
Yeah, I think so.
Overall, we got a lot done this month, for sure.
Okay.
And Albina, if you could let the other group know that we reviewed all of the monthly goals from last month and that we're moving on to the next agenda item, the HR proposal.
If somebody wants to take a second and turn all the extra stuff to 100% and green, that would be nice.
Skype message?
Yeah, Skype message is fine. Cool, but overall, we're reaching the 2-hour mark. We should definitely get through this stuff and check out because I'm starting to fade because I'm not feeling so well.
All right, let's get back to it.
For HR proposal and billing.
So I'll take the HR proposal since me and Asif are doing it.
Yeah, so it's somebody created a document that was brought to the Earth session, and in the Earth session we discussed it and we linked it. We looked at it. I think Joyce did. I can't remember who linked it, but whatever it was, it looked really good. And so now all we need to do is either create the form or just send out the email and make sure rockhoundheather@gmail is included, and that's Heather, and then the other people on the HR pool at the top of the HR rankings, and do like a final vote, and that's all it takes.
All right. George, if it was you, can you send it to me when you get a chance? I'll link it here or do something. If not, I'll go back to the Earth session notes and find it myself.
I'm looking for the Earth session.
All right. Thank you very much. As soon as I get that, I will set up the voting with Asif or with James and Asif or whatever, and we will get that out. All right. Okay.
Yep.
Does that sound good?
Yep, that sounds good.
All right.
So let's see here. We're ready to move on to billing.
Can you please check the Hangout? I linking that docs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
So the only thing I really need to say about billing is I just want people to understand the process in general, because we're obviously not going to do the billing right now. So the process is that you log your work reports, and then a new someone goes through, right? So the responsibility to go through work reports and categorize the work by client and type of work. Right, so then we database, and organize all of the work based on type and client, and then we create documents and spreadsheets detailing individual clients and agreement work, and then we create invoices that link to the documented work and charge the client based on the actual value of the work we did. Cool. So the goal is the end goal is the invoice.
You bill the client.
Yeah. You bill the client. Overall, I don't think we have to worry too much about it. But we do need to document, like, what if Exa, was like,
Jay?
Oh, yeah, James?
We are ready to go through billing.
Oh, yeah, let's get the other group on. I forgot.
All right, I looked at the board proposal doc. I'll put it into some kind of votable form, and I'll go through, make sure that everything's in there and it looks good. I know what I didn't notice on it. It doesn't have the advances on it.
Okay, well, yes, we gotta add that.
So I'll take care of that. It doesn't have any, which that was the big thing. It doesn't have any of the advances on it. So I'll see if I'll look at this. I know there's a document.
Hi, Lucy. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other reporting back for the other group at all?
You're not clear, Jay.
Oh, this might be some feedback. Anyways, we're gonna go over billing, okay, and then we're gonna check out as a whole group. All right.
I'll already check out.
You guys already checked out?
Yeah, only Miguel check out.
Oh, Miguel checked out. Okay. We also need to go through the budget plan for the week, which is very important. All right. So, billing. So the process for billing is that everyone logs their work reports. That's the first step. The second step is you go through the work reports and categorize the work by client type of work. Then you database and organize all the work based on the type of client. And then the fourth step is creating a document and spreadsheets detailing individual clients and agreement work. And then the fifth and most important step is the invoices. So we create the invoices for the client and document the work and charge the client based on the actual value of the work we did. I'll note here that we also have back pay voices, and we also do a community support ledger. I can't remember what it's called. Anyways, and the end goal is the invoice to bill the client. So that's pretty much the overall billing process. So right now, mostly what people talk about client billing, they're talking about step 1, 2, and 3. And they're not quite talking about 4, 5, and 6. And there's another component to all of this, which is related, which is reporting, client reporting. And there's also evaluation. So the client reporting and evaluations also play into the documentation that we give for client relations. Okay.
Well, one of the reasons I always talk about 1, 2, and 3 is because we can't do 4 and 5, 4, 5, and 6 until 1, 2, and 3 get done.
But that's not 100% true, because you can create an invoice and estimate it without having it be perfect, right? So there's no perfect method to billing, especially because we don't have our systems and processes set up for billing. So therefore, when we bill the client, we're really doing it for our own internal documentation, so that when people ask us, you know, did we charge the client correctly? Did we do the correct work? That we have the documentation to prove it as necessary. And so we can create the invoices as best as we can, and then create the document. So you technically could do all of the steps simultaneously, but they just would be at different levels and different levels of what we would call estimizations. But we still want them, and then we can always improve upon them as the data backing it get more accurate. So we could do both simultaneously.
Okay, well, if you'd like to work on that when you have time, schedule some time with me, and I will gladly work on it with you. Because I think I think your help might be needed for the estimations of what we should, you know. I could have to do the invoices. That's not a problem. But for the estimates, you know, we're going to do estimates. I'm not using exact numbers. I think I would need your help to get the estimated numbers.
What's the difference between external client billing?
So Lucy's
internal client billing.
Lucy's asking the question of what the difference is between EXA client billing, and then also internal client billing.
All right, man. But I can handle that if she can't handle me. The taxes we did for Anya are client billing. They're not EXA client billing. The stuff that we're doing for Jorge is client billing, not EXA client billing. They work for EXA, but we're doing work for them personally, not as part of EXA.
Yeah. So Steve, let me repeat that, because Lucy can't hear you, right? So so basically, Steve was saying that, you know, there's EXA client billing, which goes to EXA. EXA client billing is actually broken out into all the different separate agreements, right, for each of the budgets. And then there's like Anya client billing, Jorge client billing, which are separate bills that go to separate organizations and entities that we bill separately. And those are all different types of bills, so that each one of those would get its own invoice, if not multiple invoices, especially for EXA, and each agreement. And then also you're creating separate reports or like work reports for each client. And then the separate data that documents all the work that was done. And eventually we should have an estimated and a total number of hours of the work done for each client. That is separate from internal billing. So really quickly, Steve didn't quite address the internal billing, so I'm going to quickly address the internal billing. So the internal billing...
Oh, I could have. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
I could have.
Of course you could have, yeah. But so the internal billing is where the team, the super team, bills to UMBUS, which is the umbrella business for pay, right? So each of the super teams bills UMBUS. UMBUS then bills the clients. Okay, so like for example, for Cap B, Cap B is going to send $5,000 to UMBUS for client work. Right, so this is an internal billing structure, and then UMBUS will pay the money to the super teams for payroll. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is databasing internal billing?
Yeah. So when we database internal billing, it's exactly the same process as databasing the client billing. It's just we're categorizing it separately. So the databasing is the same, but the categories are different. Categories for internal billing could include, for example, payroll. Then we have Cap V is sort of like in between internal and external. You could have documentation. You could have other categories as well. Okay.
And the other.
Okay.
And there's 6 primary bus bills that are made. And we will go over these in detail in the future as well as we keep getting more and more into bus systems and structures. But basically you have, finances, documentations, coordination, and then there's a couple other ones. There's like 3 other ones. I can't remember them right now. Any other questions about the billing?
For now, I think.
Yeah. So right now, overall, billing is just not a priority. We haven't done billing for 8 months. If we wait another month, everything's not going to fall apart. So I would say we move on, and I need to get going here, and let's focus on what needs to happen, which is the budget plan for the week. That sound good?
Okay.
So does anyone have any?
Yeah,
question from Alvina.
Yeah, on like category 3, database and organize all the work. Is it client working there? Is it a priority or client?
Databasing and organizing all the work based on type and client. So the client work would be organized in database into the client work, and other types of work would be organized in database into other work. But did that answer your question, or what was your question again?
My question is, if, for example, I'm working on that, is it my client work or is it a priority or responsibility I'm working on it? Is it a client work?
It would be internal work. So anything related to billing is internal work. So you could even say that a type of category of work is billing, right? And billing would go under finances. So billing is a type of work that we do internally that we would bill UMBUS for. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Like now we are on we are doing client billing. Yeah, on Steve K work. We are on September now.
I can't talk to the other
Is
side.
that a general now client billing? We include
it looks like Lucy had the
both
question.
client work and FQN work together. Are we supposed to separate client work and FQN work on databasing worker work reports?
Honey, turn the heat on.
I think I don't know. I'm not feeling too well. I just need to take a break here. And yeah, let me get back to you guys. If someone could go between the groups and help coordinate, that'd be great. Oh, nice. Just give me a little bit. I don't feel so well. Hold on a bit.
Good. Let me see if I can pop into the other group.
Yeah.
And both groups hear me?
Yes. Can hear you, Steve.
All right. Yeah. Bill, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can.
Okay, so you got everybody. So what was your question, Lucy?
My question is, now we are working on databasing worker work report. In fact, we are on your work since last week. Now we are still on your work report doing databasing client billing. I don't know whether is it client billing or client billing for that. Are we supposed to include both client work FQN work together, because that is just working on your worker report.
All right.
The basic worker
I'm going to tell you the same thing I told Zilla when he did his. Okay. What you need to do is put down all the work. Take a spreadsheet. On the left side, put down Anya. Put that all the work you did. Then after you fill all the work, the days you work and the hours you work, everything you did for her. The day you worked out, what you did. Then after you finish Anya, maybe go to extra taxes. Why you did for extra taxes. The days you work, why you did. The days you work, how long, and what you did. Then you go to you can even non-profits. I don't know what goes non-profits, since that's internal. That's there. You're not innovating. I'm not sure about. I have to check on that. But for every client that we've done, any client work, if you work on value tracking, put down extra value tracking. You work on extra payroll, put down extra payroll. How you work. For every day and what you did. You go back to your work reports, what you did. All right. And we need that every client work that was done from everybody. Please submit it to me. Okay, just let me know when you have it. Send me so I can take it and put it all together. Because we have 24 people maybe at some point. 20 people at some point. Maybe we're doing taxes, doing the same thing. Like one spreadsheet for each person. Okay. We understand. And now. No, that's not client work. That's internal work. All the databasing, the hours that we're going to bill for, that's us setting up app billing so we can bill them. That's all internal work. Right now, there is no client work unless you're working on VZXMS or entities, or exit payroll. That's the only client work being done is VZXMS or entities with our Indexa clients, they're external clients, and extra payroll. Anything else is internal work.
Sure, but we will be considering Cap V as an agreement contract, right? But it's still internal to the FCAN community network. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So overall, we want to get to the point where we are billing the same, and we can consider either like contracted billing or client billing or not client billing, but it's the same billing, right? We want to bill for everything. So I gotta get going here because I'm not feeling so well, but I think we're pretty much good. Maybe I could check out real quick and then
yeah, I'll handle checkouts. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so I'm gonna get going because I'm not feeling really good. I'm just like feverish and nauseous right now, and
go to bed, Jay. Stop.
I know. I want to go to the doctor, right? And then also just remind that payroll for Exa payroll needs to get done today and tomorrow. So people can please check in with me about that and help with that because I can't do it by myself. Yeah. Check. And that's it. And this was a really good session. I'm glad we got a chance.
Check out. Somebody write it down. Check out. Somebody write it down.
Cool. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Good work.
Thank you.
Can you put this in the other room, please? It's broadcasting live. So.
Should we give him a show?